Welcome people of the World Wide Web. So it's Wednesday, it's the usual video. It's look what I'm watching. And there we go, give you enough time to put that in there from that. So only 5 today, not too much. Been going through some Netflix series, so I might mention those in coming videos and stuff. But yes, as always, this is a roundup of what I've been watching for the past 7 days. It's the last episode. So let's get into it. We'll go in reverse order as I normally do, so what I've watched recently to what I watched before this. So first off is The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. So I've been going for a bit. I've had so many follow-up Disney films that I've had in the collection. I've just never got round to watching. This was £1 from a charity shop I bought many years ago and just sat on the shelf, and I just decided to watch it. They're quite quick and easy ones to watch. But yeah, I did really like this. So this is it's quite nice. It starts off very similar to the first one, but you have Mufasa looking down on Simba, and it's Simba and Nala, and they've got a daughter, and then you learn about basically Scar had a wife and a child, and they were kind of outcasts from the first film. And it's kind of these kids coming together, kind of Romeo and Juliet style story of how they kind of meet each other, and even though Scar's wife is kind of against Simba and wants to get a revenge, and that's the whole point of having the kids and everything, and plague him against them. Her youngest obviously falls in love with Simba's, and obviously it's them two trying to overcome the differences, a little bit. But it was quite good for standalone. I think it's 74 minutes, if I read that right. It's 78 minutes. Apologies, but yeah, not too bad. Animated, some new songs in there and stuff from Lion King, some nice animation there. But yeah, overall quite a good story, quite nice how they played it and how they link back into the previous ones. But I didn't mind it. So the next one we have Jean-Claude Van Damme's director debut, The Quest. So I remember watching this as a kid, or in like the late 90s, I believe it was. 2002 even, there you go. But yeah, basically it's Jean-Claude Van Damme, kind of Mortal Kombat-esque of like, there is a tournament that goes on. They choose the best fighters from around the world. Jean-Claude Van Damme plays a kind of Oliver or kind of a rogue set of kids, and unfortunately gets kind of taken away, and then kind of links up kind of his story progresses where he comes across some of these fighters and then decides that he wants to fight, potentially trying to get the money or some rewards for it to basically go back to rescue all the kids that he was looking after in the very beginning of the film. It's not too bad in the grand scheme. Now, I did really like this back in the day, and watching this and having watched a few Universal Soldier films with Jean-Claude Van Damme, something was very much pointed out, and maybe it's as time, that Jean-Claude Van Damme likes very flashy, slow motion march. I mean, like, he does roundhouse kick, but then he won't really carry up with another one. It's kind of, he does a few punches and then he kind of steps back, and it's a very slow motion roundhouse kick or stuff like this. And then it was cool back in the day, but because we've had so many great martial artists that are a lot quicker, you start to notice it a little bit more. I found it's an alright movie. I mean, it's not the greatest one. I know there were a lot of issues on set and stuff, and with money and everything else, but it's an okay film to watch. But yeah, I think as time goes on, you just see, unfortunately, it was the way they shot Jean-Claude Van Damme fights are kind of more, tailored to his very slow style. But there we go. Next one up is obviously the definitive edition that I have, 4K Pacific Rim. I love this movie. Took me a little while to get hold of this, but obviously won it, I think, on eBay, £27. Yeah, loved the case, and it was nice to rewatch it in 4K. I think my soundbar quite isn't up to the spec, that there were a few sound bits that weren't quite right, but apart from visually, it was stunning to see the Jaeger Gypsy Danger fighting all the different creatures and stuff, and the battle, and yeah, it was a little, obviously, what's coming with Idris Elba's character and a few other bits, but still thought really, really good. It was a good enough story. I really hoped we'd had a proper sequel, but I can't remember the sequel that bad, so I think I'm going to have to pull that out and re-watch the sequel to see how bad they screwed up the story from the first one. But it is what it is. Then we have Only the Lonely. So again, in a few ones you've seen, I've started going back and watching a few old 80s movies stuff. John Candy, obviously directed by Chris Columbus, which I did. I did like Harry Potter, a few of the Harry Potter films and stuff. Pardon me there. It's very much, it's a man in his 30s. He lives with his mum and very protective. His brother's rich, has his own life, and he's kind of stuck at home looking after his mum, worrying about her. And then he falls for this mortician woman who paints there. She's from the Breakfast Club, and I didn't realise she was Stephanie in Short Circuit, funny enough. But yeah, it's him falling for her and then kind of trying to have this relationship, but his mum not wanting to have the relationship because she's stuck in her ways and the troubles they have. But it was a good old movie from, an hour, 100 minutes, like some few minor actors coming there. Steve Belushi, I believe, is in it as well. And yeah, it was a really good movie. Kind of, you kind of know where it's going to end up, but it's a story of how they get there and stuff. And it isn't, there are a few things that go wrong, which I quite liked. That it wasn't necessarily perfect along that route. There was a lot of, steps that people had to go through. But yeah, it was all good. And then the final one that we have is, as I say, the Disney. It's Tarzan and Jane. So this is another sequel in the Tarzan trilogy. So obviously I watched Tarzan 2 and then so I've seen all of them now, and I didn't mind this one. It's very much kind of like someone's taken a Tarzan TV series and done like 20-minute episodes in between it all with one little overall story. That's how it kind of comes across. I say it's okay. It's not as good as I thought Tarzan 2 was, but there we go. But it is an alright watch, and that's everything I've been watching. As I say, I've been watching quite a lot of stuff on Netflix and series that I haven't finished, so I can't really talk about. But hopefully I think I'm going to start adding, series that I quite like. Maybe do a few ones. So yeah, please do let me know in the comments below. Would you like for me to include Netflix series? Because I say I've tried to keep this only physical media, but I'm happy to include stuff I watch online. Or should I maybe do a special video, based off a series that I watch if I really, really like it? Because I have seen quite a few of late that are really, really good. Otherwise, that's been look what I've been watching. We're in the 20s now, probably coming up to the 30s. I lose track of it. Hope you're enjoying this video. I've been Cypher Sigma Screen Time. Like, comment, subscribe. Do all the things you want to do. Have a good week, and I shall see you in the next one.